Live from Hollywood, it's Dancing with the Stars, Season 23, Episode 10, Era's Night. From the roaring 20s to the hip-hop 90s, what's your favorite decade? Watch now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I ain't got time for you, baby.
Either you're mine or you're not.
Make up your mind,
Sweet baby.
Right here, right now is all we got.
A little party never kill nobody. We gon' dance. Hey guys, it's Dancing with the Stars after show from North Hollywood, and with me tonight is the lovely and extremely talented Laura Beth-Hill. Laura,
Hi.
how are you doing tonight?
I'm good.
And what's your Twitter?
My Twitter is at LadyLBH. What's your Twitter, Chris?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me tonight.
Yes,
and shout out to
welcome.
Anika, but I am so excited to be here. I usually can't do the show, but tonight it just all worked out, and I thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I am Chris Valentine. My Twitter is AKA Golden Boy. Yeah, keep that Fergie going. And
We can just dance all night.
Oh, we're going to have so much fun. We have an incredible show. There is so much material to cover. I can't wait to get started. And just a little note, that song was like a Roaring 20s song. And if you remember a few seasons ago, Fergie is the singer of that song. And I'm watching Allison and Riker dance to her. I'm like, oh my gosh, where did they get this song from the 20s from? It's so amazing. And then to find out it is Fergie's song.
Right, yeah.
And I actually talked to her on Ryan Seacrest's New Year's Rockin' Eve. I usually do that every year. And I said, Fergie, that was so amazing that they had your song in Dancing with the Stars. She got so excited. She's like, yes, wasn't it great? That song, people, is like 8 different versions. Check it out. Get it from iTunes. She's got all the different formats of it, but I swear I thought it was a 20s song, so
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that song.
I'm obsessed with that dance, but we'll come to it.
Yes. Well, we got some great Roaring
good.
20s. Yeah, let's get back to this episode. I still like Riker and Allison. I still think they should have won. I think they came in second place, but they were amazing. Anyways, we have a incredible night tonight. We
Yeah,
have
a lot of drama.
lots of drama. I mean, it's not good TV if there's no drama, first of all.
That's true. It
right?
was great television.
And Maureen brought it again with the drama. Thank you, Maureen. We love you.
We do love Maureen and Artem. How sad.
It was, and it's like, okay, we're going to get to it, but I want to say the two couples that I like the most ended up being in the bottom 2. Now, let's remember, people, a lot of you might not know this, but when they say the bottom 2 or they're in jeopardy, the 2 couples in jeopardy, doesn't necessarily mean they had the lowest scores.
Right.
But I don't want to, we'll get to that a little bit later. We started off first, though, with Laurie and Val
Laurie and
doing the
Val.
quick step.
Yes. I mean, every week she's sensational.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. It wasn't perfect. The footwork wasn't perfect. I don't know if she's had a really busy week again. Bless her, she's touring, with the Olympics, but promoting that. But I just thought it was wonderful. The prom theme, and bless her, she said she's never been to a prom.
Never been to the
This was her
prom. They dressed her perfectly. She got her corsage. And who better to have prom with than Val?
Yeah, I
Such
wouldn't
a
have minded
gentleman.
Val at my prom.
The colors were beautiful. It looked
Yes.
like it was right out of a prom. She's such a little sweetheart. She did a fantastic job. And when Tom asked her about what do you know about the 60s, I kind of knew they were going towards the bra burning thing. I'm like, wasn't there something else you wanted to bring up? Yes. She's like, oh yeah. Didn't they like burn bras or something?
Yeah.
And of course, all actors and actresses never want to say their age. And so yeah, we all read about that. We kind of knew. So that was a cute little thing. And the great thing I do like about Tom Bergeron is he is so witty. He
Oh,
will
God.
come up with these improv
He is
things
amazing.
on the spot. Yeah, he's an incredible host.
So slick.
He is. I do feel this season, though, watching it, I felt like they're not using a filter like they did in the past. I'm starting to see a lot of flaws on everybody.
Huh.
You are the dance expert, so you're gonna cover a lot of technical. But
Okay.
I love to talk about production and production value. And I didn't really start watching this show until Erin Andrews came on. I know a lot of you don't like Erin Andrews. A lot of people I talk to on the street are like, no, we hate her. I actually really like her. And when she became the co-host with Tom, I started watching the show.
Huh.
Even tonight, she looked like she was showing some lines and stuff. And I know that's kind of rude to bring that up, but Tom is showing a little bit too, and she wasn't some of the others.
Okay.
And even some of the young people, like who's the blonde judge?
Oh, Julianne?
Yes, her makeup looks so severe tonight. So I'm watching the show and I'm like, they're not using a filter or something. I mean, it's coming in really clear now. So I don't know if they didn't use a lot of smoke that night. Smoke machines, I don't know.
Harsh lighting, I don't know. I don't notice these things. I'm
starting to notice
on the dancing. But
exactly.
Yeah,
but Tom Bergeron, he's a great host, and
rest.
you know, he did leave the America's Funniest Home Videos. He's like, okay, I'm happy with that, but he told everybody, he says, you will have to drag my dead body off of this show before I leave. So they keep renewing the contract. And you know, when the Emmys were on a few weeks ago, it was great when they said, you know, if you can't make hosting Jimmy Kimmel, we can always bring in Tom Bergeron. But he's an exceptional.
My favorite male host.
He's great. I think though he maybe look into some plastic surgery.
No, keep it real.
Keep it real. I'm the one that needs it. I'm the one.
You don't. You do not need it, and neither does Tom.
And by the
Tom
way,
is a good-looking man.
He's a good-looking man.
Very good-looking man.
And the bright lights help. But anyways, I did want to say earlier, you look phenomenal tonight.
Thank you. So do you. I love your sequin number.
It is for Dancing with the Stars, of course. Of course. And that necklace is amazing.
This was a gift from my mom.
Oh, I was going to ask you. All the way from Yorkshire?
That's correct. All the way from Yorkshire.
Oh my
it came for my
gosh.
birthday this year.
Okay, we need to go shopping in England. So, on to the second couple dancing tonight. We have
Ryan and Cheryl.
the goofy Ryan, who I love, by the way, but he's another character on the show where he makes good television. I remember, I like to bring this up, when he was on Joan Rivers a few years ago, and everybody was just obsessed with him. I know, like, the shirt comes off almost every single episode, but he had the most incredible abs. And, of course, Joan Rivers booked him. He went on the show. Something didn't play out too well, where he was like, didn't impress her, and after the show she was like spilling the tea on what he's really like. So he's an interesting character to watch on the show. He and Cheryl did the rumba.
Yes.
How did you feel about that dance?
Let down.
Okay, why?
Often let down by Ryan. He's just not progressing fast enough like the other couples. His technique is not there. You know, so each week they do a different style of dancing, which as a non-dancer is very difficult, even as a dancer. You know, there's a lot to learn, a lot to get correct.
I don't know how they do it.
Right. But there are certain things in your technique that go through all areas of dance.
Oh.
For example, your core. You've got to have a really strong core. Yeah. In here, and then that pulls up the whole entire body. For example, knowing your lines, knowing how to use your arms. Well, it doesn't matter if we say, you know, your line's going to be this. You know that's your line. Or
a lot of them did that tonight. The tango, the tango, and I saw it in a few different. Yeah, it wasn't just the tango where they do that, but yeah, if you know the basics, is what you're saying, you can carry it through. You've got to be in tune
with your body. Yeah, you've got to be able to know where your legs, where your arms, where everything's supposed to be, your lines. And as a dancer, you become very quick at adapting to where you're supposed to be. But every part of your body, you have to know where every
And he
part
should know
is.
this by now.
Now, I mean, everybody, I suppose, you know, is going to develop at a different rate. I understand that. But he must have an incredible core from all of his swimming.
Yes.
And he does not connect it to his dancing.
Oh, okay.
So you see him when he's doing stuff, and it's almost like he's just sort of stomping around.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a bit plodding through mud. Whereas if he was engaged with his core and all of his posture was right, it would be like held, and he would just be different. It's like, what's the difference between?
It was a little
he's
stiff.
Not going
Is that
wrong.
what you're saying? Right.
It's almost, it's just not. It's not got the strength behind it. It's not got the technique behind it.
And also, they brought up something else. He's not bringing the character into it. You know what I'm saying? Is like he's not feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
I think Tom said it, and some of the judges were saying, you know, feel the music, become the character, which Maureen does extremely well.
Well, she's an actress, so
She
does.
Thank you. Yeah.
But when I see him and Cheryl together in rehearsals all the time, it seems like he's a bit of the class clown.
Yeah.
And now he's become that, and he's almost embodied it, and he sort of dances as if to
He's
say,
kind of a rascal,
oh,
though.
am I doing it right? Oh, is that funny? Oh, like the cool kid at school. But the cool kid at school never quite, is top of the class because they're too worried about being the cool kid.
Yeah.
And I feel that's Ryan. He needs to concentrate. Get on with it. Stop messing around if that's what they're doing. I don't know. Why are the others moving forward so much quicker?
And it kind of maybe goes back to what I was talking about when he was on Joan Rivers. She was saying he wasn't the fastest person, so maybe it takes him a little longer, You
see,
and we're all
fair
different,
enough.
and I appreciate everybody's different personalities and who they are, and I know this show must be incredibly challenging.
So challenging.
It does go up, though. Every week that they're on, they get 10,000 more. I think it starts with 125 to start the show, do rehearsals for 3 or 4 weeks or whatever, do the first few episodes, and then make an appearance in the finale. But every week that's going by, because I think somebody brought this up last week, it goes from 20,000 a week to 30,000 a week to 40,000 a week. Yes, to 60, and then if you make the finale, I believe it's 350. But I'm almost thinking that's the total. Yeah, because there was also another, because this was very top secret stuff from the show. But it's out there, okay? So
because the Bindi Irwin thing, is that what you're going to talk about?
Exactly. I think it finally came out. There was a leak, and they asked one of the celebrities, "Would you like to be on the show?" And they gave her the breakdown, and then she leaked it, or he leaked it. Allegedly. I don't know if all these numbers are correct, but that's what's out there on the internet. And I have heard that every week it goes by, they do get paid more, which they should.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ryan, step it up, but we still love you. We love your personality.
We do love him, and his girlfriend came in, and you could see how in love they are, and I love that. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it's about who's the best. Well, it should be about who's the best.
So he's not in your top 4 for sure.
No, he's definitely not in my top 4.
And I don't think he's going to make top 4.
He should go soon,
well,
unless
it was shocking.
we have a dramatic change.
It was shocking when I found out, because I wasn't following every single episode this season, and then I'm like, Ryan is still on? Because I did watch the first episode, and I believe he was in the bottom 2. So I'm like, okay, what a surprise.
He's had his moments when he's been better, but then, 1 week, I think it was last week, when he had the fluorescent, hot pants and these knee pads on and everything. And
it looked a little weird,
but it was terrible. And it wasn't all him. It was, to me, the theme. This week, much better, thank God. He had a nice outfit on. It was, a lot better for him.
Yes, though I will say I do not have a problem with less clothes. I really don't. Like some of those celebrities and even the pros, I'm like, okay, just take it off. I don't have a problem. You look great. So I'm not talking about the girls. You have to be covered, but they always look incredible. Those costumes. I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't you wear that to a dinner party? They're so beautiful.
So fabulous.
Sparkling.
The costume department's incredible.
They are, and they were even saying that tonight. They were saying in the later group round how amazing the wardrobe department is. So yeah, you guys are doing a great job. Moving on, we next go to, I believe, Mary Lou Henner.
Yeah.
And of course the star Derek. She got teamed up well this season, right?
She did very well.
Come on. And she is a professional dancer, right?
Yeah, they said, she
did
was
you guys talk about
Roxy
that?
in Chicago, and I had heard she was a dancer, and then when I heard that, she was the lead in the musical, and that Chicago, you have to be a proper dancer. You can't just, fudge your way through that.
Exactly.
But you can tell by her posture.
It happens every season. There's people with dance experience. So for them to say that they know nothing, I think she even danced when she was on Taxi. And I remember seeing her on the Paramount lot not too long ago working on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, though I don't think she danced there. They usually have that strong guy dancing shirtless usually almost every episode on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But anyway, she looks amazing. She's doing such a good job.
She's doing very well.
And I know, what's the blonde lady's name in Huff?
Julianne.
I want to say Huff. I know. The Huff family.
The Huff family.
She did bring up that Mary Lou is the oldest person on the show. And I don't feel that was a bad thing to say, because it's, first of all, an inspiration to everyone. No matter how old you get, look at the shape that she's in.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at how hard she's working. She's putting everything into it, and she works it too. I mean, with the winking of the eyes and doing the 20, the 20 stuff, she just kept it going all night. So how did you feel about the Charleston, one of my favorite dances?
Her Charleston, yeah, it was fabulous. And, you know, like Derek said, he could play to her strengths from Chicago, you know.
Yes,
Bob
and he
Fosse,
did.
Kind of similar there, yeah.
She remembered old steps and brought it in.
Yeah, and she did great. There was just times her lifts aren't always spot on, which is a shame. And the ending, she was off on that lift. You could see it was a very uncomfortable lift. He kept going, but, you know, if you see someone writhing, doing a lift is very uncomfortable. There's no two ways about it. Having all your weight pressed on someone, like if you're on his hand or whatever, and that's on your back or on your bum or wherever it is, it's not comfortable. And you go like, like it is, and it's easy, and it's not inside. You're like, oh. And so if it's off, she was probably in a lot of pain, you know, and maybe he was having to grip a little bit so he didn't drop her if it was slightly off.
But she keeps
really
going.
hard. She kept going
And
like
all
a
of the
trooper.
numbers.
She smiles, she carries on, she comes out of the lift as gracefully as possible, but you know, then it sort of had a little fall, a little plop into the seat at the end when she sat on Derek, which wasn't the best, but you know, they did their best.
They did their best.
She is a star.
She absolutely
Whatever
is.
happens, she is a star on the show.
She is. She'll always be a star, and I'm sure she will keep working long after this. I know a lot of careers are propelled again after this, and I think it's important. We'll talk about some vignettes coming up, but sometimes when you have those meltdowns, and they do tape you all day long rehearsing, it's nonstop. There's cameras on you.
Really?
Yes, it could be like 10 hours that you're in there or whatever, 6, 8, 10, whatever, but there's always cameras watching you. Sometimes there's, you know, when there's a lot of excitement and drama going on, they'll zoom in on you and they'll start getting excited, but there's always at least one steady cam on you during the entire thing, so they catch everything. But
well, do you know, to me, Mary Lou and Derek should keep going. Definitely semi-finals.
I think top 4, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Possibly finals, not sure yet. But yeah, they should keep going. I would be sad if they were out next week.
And I like how he said, you know, I'm starting to forget steps and learn stuff. And that's so honest and wonderful of him to say.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
how many championships has he won? More than anybody else on the show? Was it
6 mirror balls.
Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. It was like 7 or 8, but he has won so many, and yet he still is like, okay, I'm getting older now too, and it's a little bit harder. And she remembers those steps back from the Broadway show that she did. She
When
had
she
no
was in her
problem recalling,
20s.
like, yeah, let me show you. And he had to learn
Yeah.
some stuff, which was great. So I think absolutely they're going to go to the end. And anybody, you know, teamed with Derek has a very good shot at going to the end.
There's
He's
that
amazing. He's so
magic with
talented with the
Derek, yeah.
choreography. I mean, that's a big part of it, right?
Definitely.
Moving on.
Moving on.
So we have Calvin and Lindsay doing the
Yes.
50s jive.
Oh, loved it.
Tell me more.
Yes. The choreography, the costumes. That was the one with the car in the background.
Yes, they always seem to bring a car in every season at some point.
Yeah,
And I
it
usually
was
go watch the
wonderful.
show live, and I never seen them how they bring the car in, but it's probably through the main gate.
It will be on on like a.
Oh my gosh, the changeover of what they do on that show.
Oh,
You have to
incredible.
come. We'll go live. We'll do a
I'd
live
love
show.
to go see it
Now
live
that we're doing it
so
on
badly.
Wednesday. But actually, there is time to go see it live on Mondays and get back
And
to the
dash
studio in
here.
time because
Yeah.
it's live on the East Coast at 5 p.m. Pacific. And if you rush back through LA traffic, we can do that.
You can still make it.
So yes, season finale coming in, and it's nothing like you see on television. I mean, it's so much more vibrant, and the
Yes.
band is so loud. But what's interesting, and I'm always amazed when I go, is it'll be a countdown. There'll be a big screen telling you how many seconds before they go live, and I
Yeah.
swear people are on their cell phones or not in their chairs, and it's like they're doing a countdown. Okay, we got 20 seconds, and there's like chaos everywhere. And so they'll get down to the last second, and all of a sudden everybody's in their seats and watching the show.
Huh.
But the changeovers, they are doing something every minute that you are not seeing what's going on the stage. And it's kind of, you don't realize it because of those video packets. When they're doing the video packets, they're doing changeovers of the scenery. I love, like tonight, when they did show the changeover to the modern or the future
the
scene.
past to the future, yes.
Yeah, I love when they show that, but that's what's
Yeah.
going on. There's always stuff in motion and they're setting up, and even sometimes the dancers are little practicing right on the stage before they go on, and they're getting pointers and stuff. So it's amazing. And then even the guest performers, I just want to add this little tidbit too. They had Elle on Elle King, I think it was last season, and I don't know if she expected this, but it goes to this story of they're putting her up on a little box. Literally 10 seconds till they go live for the East Coast. They're putting the guitar over her, propping up her hair, and she's like trying to like warm her voice up, and we're going live in 10 seconds, and she nailed it. But that's the way the show is.
Yeah.
It really is. So we had the car, we have great
Yes.
props as usual.
Costumes, and Calvin is definitely a possible winner.
Okay.
He is head
Yes.
and shoulders above, and it's because he's got that technique that I was talking about earlier that carries him through every dance that he learns.
Yes.
And his concentration. He is focused the whole way through, and he's really connected to Lindsay, which we've talked about in previous shows. That connection that they have, and we don't know if it's because of the sports, that when he's on his team he's constantly looking for his teammates and the ball, and
Yes.
it's very much in your peripheral vision as to what's going on the pitch, and it's the same on the dance floor. You should be very aware of where the other dancers are, or definitely where your partner is. And he's
Yes.
always aware of her and like looking after
Yes.
where should he be in relation. Very important. You can't just be two individual dancers happen to be dancing there and then we come together and 5, 6, 7. No, it's a partnership, and they have to gel together, and they do.
Yes.
And that's why I love them, and that's why they're progressing so well, and he's clearly listening to her in rehearsals.
Yes, point the toes.
Yeah,
Did he
well,
do that?
Yes,
Did he do it?
He did, yes.
Okay.
Well, he does as best he can, because they said because of his injuries he can't
Yeah.
actually physically bend his foot enough to
And
point
she gave
it.
him pointers of like, if you
energy.
stick it, the energy, it'll look like you're pointing your toes.
Yes.
By the way, I'm sure you all heard this already, but Laura Beth is a dancer. And that is why when she told me, I'm like, oh my gosh, finally, the after show with Dancing with the Stars has a real dancer on the show. Because, you know, all of us can talk about production, me better than anybody. But anyways,
Right.
we have somebody here who's a real dancer.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually trained with Mark and Derek, the same college. Yeah,
gosh,
and
where was
Julianne
that?
as well, Italia Conti in London.
Oh my gosh, did you talk about this
So-
before?
No, I haven't talked about
Okay,
this before.
we got some
But-
inside information
Yeah.
here. So what was
And
it
they're
like? Were you all
lovely.
like at the same level? Derek and everybody were just starting out? You guys were like
So-
12 or something?
No. I was like 18. They were there slightly younger. Mark was in my class, Derek was in the year above, and then Julianne was a few years below. But we were doing all different styles of dance, and then they would do a lot of their competing in the ballroom work and the Latin work outside.
I wonder.
And train with,
really?
they trained with Mark's parents on an evening, and they'd go touring, doing their competitions. But they were amazing. You know, they're great people. They were always choreographing routines, and their vision. You know, they're so focused.
He's a superstar.
The work ethic.
Yeah.
It's it's another level.
Maybe that is where they were filming Harry Potter, because I remember when Derek was starting out, he did a little background, which he's not ashamed of saying.
Yeah, that was
right?
when he was at college.
So it must have been while he was there. How perfect is that? And his little thing of how you get noticed in movies, even if you're doing background, is he said he would walk past the main principal stars, but he would always turn when he was doing. And so you will, if you're watching the Harry Potter movies, you will see Derek, because he's the blonde kid that would work that camera.
Oh my god.
All right.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
So that's what he was doing there in addition to training. So
I
that's
guess
really
so,
cool.
Yeah, no, we do all sorts of different stuff. But yeah, great guys, really nice guys, and really talented and very, very driven.
Yeah.
Flitting between LA and London all the time.
Well, he was doing
and-
Broadway at the same time as last season, right?
Yeah,
And flying back.
well,
and-
yeah, I don't know what happened with that, but then Mark's now on Broadway, isn't he?
Yes,
doing
he
his
is.
Show, Jersey Boys, and I'm so glad he got that. He always wanted that part. He was
And
like,
he's about
"That
to get
part was made
married."
for me."
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I've
I
never
worked
met
on
her,
Jersey
but
Boy, the
yeah.
movie, and so
Oh, did
yeah, I
you?
did. And so and we actually, when we did that movie, those scenes were live. It was one of the few movies where when you watch the main star singing, and he was a Broadway star too, the main principal of that one, he would do it live, and it was with a live band, and yeah, the director was Clint Eastwood, and he would film it. I'd love to go into all the details of what would happen behind the scenes of these these things that I'm not allowed to say, but that was the real deal, and those were all. That's why it's so exciting to go in person. If you ever come to LA, get tickets to go to Dancing with the Stars. People come from all over the world. I mean, South America, and you're out there at CBS. It's funny, it's an ABC show filmed at CBS, and sometimes another network. They all work together, but you're there with so many people that are super fans, and they come from so far away to see the show, and there is nothing that compares with seeing it live. So yeah, check it out. You guys can get tickets just as easy as anybody else. It's like
how do they do that? How do people
It's like
tickets?
A lotto system where you enter your email, you say you're available, then they'll pick you for a show.
Right.
For some reason, they email me like every week. Do you want to do it? So I just keep coming back usually.
Okay, take me.
I'm taking you next time. Absolutely.
I have seen it a couple of times, but
I
not
did
for a while,
miss the one where I think it was the second episode where they were doing a recap of the one before. And I'm like, 2 hours of recap of something that we just saw. And I'm like, I didn't feel like doing it. And then since then, I haven't been asked to come back because I didn't make that episode.
You're not a super fan.
I'm not.
We would have been there, wouldn't we? We would have been there.
We will be there. We will be there next time. Okay. So
Calvin and Lindsay to win.
Calvin and Lindsay to win.
Yes.
But people, to me, this is where the show starts. We have Maureen McCormick coming out with Artem to do the tango and laugh it up because she is funny. She's fantastic TV. Yes, she's an actress. She reminds me of some of the other Brady Bunch kids that I have interviewed on my website. But anyways, she knows how to actually... You don't really know what she's going to say. That's the exciting part. It's like a car crash that you don't know. And even the producers are like, when Tom asks her a question, we're waiting and you never know what she's going to say.
Yeah.
But she is working this tango. She is all in. She is a character, and she brings it from the moment even before, and she carries it even after it's over. And that's what you're supposed to do as an actress. You don't stop. You stay in character for the whole thing, and she does. What did you feel? I know she's not the best dancer, but let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, as soon as she came on in that long black skirt, I was like, oh no, she's going to trip. High heels, long black skirt. Every time you bend your knees, that means that skirt's touching the ground and could potentially be under a heel or a foot or under his.
And did she not? Because Artem took the blame, as they always do, the gentlemen.
That's the problem when you're not there live.
I watched it over and over again, and I felt like she tripped. So go on, I think you're right.
Well, when I first watched the dance, and she... and they fell, I thought, oh, she tripped. And I thought perhaps she'd done the footing wrong. And as they went, then that tripped him up.
Right.
But I don't know. And then he said that he'd stepped on her skirt. Maybe it was a bit of everything. I guess we'll never know.
Well, first of all, I love the outfits too. I know if there's going to be a problem, there's going to be a problem. But with Maureen, at least you can count on her also finishing. When she starts it, she's going to finish it. She just keeps on going. And I felt she stayed in character even with that little mishap. But the costumes were amazing.
And his wig.
Oh, the wig is for Artem. I want the whole outfit. Just send me I'll wear the whole, 80s to me is the best music. It's the 20s, the 80s, actually the 40s. The 40s were a golden age. I feel like it's every 40 years. So the 40s were phenomenal. The 80s to me was the best music, and then I'm sure the 20s are going to be great.
So we're gonna wait now.
We gotta wait for my single to come out. I'll be doing that in the 20s, aka Golden Boy. That's my moniker for that. That's why I picked that. But I love the music, the Armageddon music. The outfits were perfection. His makeup, it was so 80s, and they asked her, they said, how did you feel about the costume? And I was like, oh my God, don't say anything bad because I adore it. I mean, I totally love it. And she's like, I really liked it. I really, this really worked for me because obviously people would have thought, or she would have thought, she would have been picked for the 70s.
Yeah.
And then the Brady Bunch and everything, and they showed that flawless picture of her. Like, she really hasn't aged that much.
Oh, she looks amazing.
She does.
She does.
Did she have a facelift?
Oh, I don't know these things. That's your thing. I
feel
idea.
like I think it's great to do plastic surgery. I just wish the doctors would just be able to work more on the neck, and I think they're starting to. But I love Maureen. I think you're beautiful. Everybody is beautiful, no matter.
Stay beautiful, stay natural. That's my thing.
Well, that's because you are so fresh and young and gorgeous.
No.
But absolutely, she's beautiful inside and out. And Artem, they asked Artem, how did you feel about the costume? He's like, I could get into this. I think I want to keep the costume too.
Yeah.
So
they look great. But sorry to interrupt you.
No, go right ahead.
I was just going to say, in rehearsal, it's a
Yes.
different story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem.
Yes.
He got so frustrated with her, and he does every week. He gets very frustrated. Sadly, she just can't go at the rate he wants her to go at.
And she was hilarious. I'm laughing, and I'm not laughing at you, Maureen. I'm laughing because it is so entertaining. But it was almost as if, in those previous scenes you're talking about, that she was in a relationship with him, like they were married. And I actually have some
That's
quotes.
very true.
She literally said, she said, I feel your frustration. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're acting like you're married to him or something. I know, is this therapy session? And she does it with such a straight face. Rewatch that. That is just the best TV. I mean, she is so dramatic. And then she says, I think it's really important in relationships to speak up. And I'm like, is this a soulmate reading?
Yeah, they have an interesting dynamic, and they always have, because he's very strict. He wants a partner, a bit like Jana and Gleb. So if he'd have had Jana, I think that would have worked perfect for him. Somebody who's constantly like trying to do it better, listening, just doing it his way, more that kind of a student. And not that it's right or wrong, it's just everybody's different.
Yeah.
Maureen is kind of like, take me at my own pace, take me as I go kind of thing.
Yeah.
She's trying really hard. She just can't go at the pace he's going at.
Yes.
And I understand it completely, because he's like, well, I have to cover two dances in 1 week. How are we going to do that? She always struggles with one, to then do 2 dances in 1 week. It was very stressful. And I mean, who would have been blamed if she didn't know the routine? We would have blamed Artem.
Yes.
You're the coach. How come everybody else's students knew what they were doing and yours didn't? So pressure's on him. But then it makes him come off like not very nice sometimes.
Well,
and she's like,
I just can't get enough. I mean, I think she got more pieces in that show tonight than anybody else. The camera was on. I mean, they used almost all of her scenes. Sometimes they do that because they know you're going home that night on some shows.
Okay.
But I really think it was just priceless. I mean, I will watch that again. It was just, from the vignettes to beginning, the video packets, and then afterwards, and I'm like, yes!
Yeah.
I'm like, please do not send her home, because she's just so entertaining.
And she went home.
I know. It's like the bottom 2 were, to me, the best, because that was the next group that went, which was...
Number 6 was...
Actually,
Tara and Sasha.
Tara and Sasha doing the foxtrot, right. So actually, no, that wasn't my next favorite. It's coming up.
Okay.
But we're in the 1930s now.
Yes.
And how did we do on the foxtrot?
Loved it. I thought she
Is that an
was
English
amazing.
dance?
I don't know.
I feel like it is.
Probably.
Because you go
Sounds
like fox hunting and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's my tie-in, people.
Maybe.
Go on. I'm sorry.
I thought they did great. I'm just looking at my notes to quickly recap.
And as you're doing that, we are on live chat. So we'll be taking questions tonight, because it's just the 2 of us. I wanted to tell you that earlier, but please type in your questions and we will give you a shout out. Christian Torn, hey, super fan. Good to see you. You're like on every show. We love you.
Hello, Lindsay.
And
OMG, no way Derek and Mary Lou to make top 4.
I was
don't
just
know.
gonna say that.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be top 4, but I think they'll probably be not out next week, I think is what I was meaning. To me, it'll be either Cheryl and Ryan, or it'll be Mary Lou and Derek. Sorry. Was I was going to say? Yeah, Cheryl and Ryan, or Mary Lou and Derek. That's who I think will be out next week.
I felt like Mary Lou, she did have a spill, and I felt like... when I watched it the first time, I thought that was meant to be, and then I rewatched it, and I'm like, no, she really did fall.
Yes.
She had a bit of a hard night, but I really think she can go a little bit further.
She might go further, yeah.
Right?
So Maureen and Artem needed to go, and I think Ryan and Cheryl need to go.
Okay.
Nothing against them. I just don't see that they can make enough progression between now and the finals.
Yeah.
With the others all improving
I
the
get
rate
that.
they are.
Definitely
So,
Ryan.
yeah. So I think next week it should be Ryan and Cheryl to go.
I agree.
And then after that, for me, it would probably be Mary Lou and Derek. I can't see them, you know, in the top 4, but who knows, you know? Everything can change. Everything keeps changing week in, week out.
It does.
You know, Jana and Gleb had this like big rising. Calvin and Lindsay again have just gone from strength to strength every week.
Mm-hmm.
You just never know. And then Laurie, who was top of the leaderboard consistently or around there and, you know, getting 10 out of 10s, and then suddenly started to fall off a little bit.
Are you talking about
And-
last week when she got like 40 with the rain shower scene? Is that who
Oh,
we're
that
talking
was
about?
Jana and Gleb.
Jan- okay, Gleb,
Laurie
yeah.
and Val, yeah.
Oh,
they
okay.
haven't maintained getting 10s all the time. They're still up there at the top of the leaderboard,
yeah.
but for them, their scores have slightly dropped.
And I don't know that she has that big of a following. I mean, she reminds me of
okay.
that English guy who would go out with the crocodiles. Remember the girl that won?
India win?
Yeah. So she kind of reminds me of her, but I don't know that she has that kind of following where she can get the votes to carry her through.
I never think about this side of it. I just
Really?
think who's the best dancer, and then I get behind them, and then I want
That's
them
the
to win.
way to do it. That's because I do feel this show is one of the real ones. I have heard from so many people that American Idol allegedly is or was rigged. And so I was like, okay, I heard they pick the winner before the season even starts. And that's why you have these people who are the second and third place that make the
Right.
millions of dollars, because those are the true, real talent, like you're talking about. This show, I do feel it is about the dancing. The little side note that I did mention earlier, because we are getting closer to the end, is when this show says the 2 couples in jeopardy,
Yes.
they really mean jeopardy. It doesn't mean the lowest
Doesn't mean the
votes.
bottom, yeah.
And exactly. And so I do feel that Maureen and the other person had the lowest number of votes, and I do believe they were the bottom. But the other couple,
Jana and Gleb.
exactly,
So
I
why-
feel is top 2. And the reason they do that, I feel, is because they want to make sure the public votes heavily for them and keeps them in the show, because they will probably end up being, if not top 2, possibly the winner. I think it just jolts up the votes.
Okay.
So that is the reason. And that's you're gonna ask, like, why do they do that?
Yeah.
I think it's to get the public outrage and like, how could they be in the bottom? They got 40 last
Yeah.
week. They're like the best dancers on their show. How did this happen? So that's what. And if you go to
That's
the
why
website, they do say that the people in the bottom aren't necessarily the ones with the lowest votes by the judges in the combined score. It does not mean that. It just means they're in jeopardy. That's it.
Yeah.
And I do think it's to spike votes. Okay, so moving on, we have Jana and Gleb, my
Oh,
second favorite couple of the night,
yes.
doing the samba, the 70s.
Oh, so good. The
I
costumes.
loved it.
Oh,
I
yes.
absolutely loved
I
it.
think I watched it at least 5 times so far.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
So Len said you're larking about on the washing machine.
I know.
She was only up there for a few seconds, and
No, I think Gleb was a bit. Gleb. Len was a little bit harsh with that.
Yeah.
And then Gleb got annoyed, didn't he? And he
he
spoke
did. You
up
know what?
and bit of
He
back chat.
spoke up, and he says what I believe. What I wanted to say tonight was, it's not always about the technical aspects. He actually said something I can't believe it wasn't bleeped out for the West Coast, but he says this isn't a dance. Do you remember this? This isn't a dance competition. This is a television show. And I'm like, what? I thought this was a dance competition.
Yeah, no, it is.
It is a
And that's
dance
the
competition.
problem.
But the thing is, I feel there's a lot of truth to what he said, because it is about creating entertainment. No matter what is said and done, any television show on television is about entertaining you, getting eyes watching it,
Yeah.
and making sure we have sponsors, because the more people we have, and that's the ultimate goal. And Gleb brings it. He is entertainment. Did you see that wig? That was so Osmond's Partridge Family, and he was working it. I'm like, how? He's from another one from Russia, right? How does he know this is the American style of 70s? He was like right out of the Osmond show.
He did great. Well, they do their research, and they're very creative. And he's like Derek to me. Gleb and Derek are very similar. They're very clever. They take the strengths of their partners, they show them off, they do amazing choreography, they take whatever it is they can get from their music, their theme, and they blow it up.
Exactly.
And, and that's why they do so well.
And the costumes were not perfect, right?
Oh, I loved them.
you got to have some sparkle, but it
Amazing.
was like Partridge Family on television or the Brady Bunch. It was so Brady Bunch. Come on, it was perfect.
I do still want her to pull her shoulders down a
shoulders
little
back.
bit, but I don't know. They say that's improved, but I still see a little
Well,
bit.
I'm a little concerned with some of where she seems to be very touchy-feely with him, and I didn't want to bring it up too much, but if you watch the show, even at the end of that number, she's got her hand in a very dicey.
See that.
Oh Lord, the other two are holding, but she's in a danger zone, people.
Oh, dear.
And then when they're always leaving the stage, she's like patting his butt and holding it there. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't know that he appreciates it, because he is married. And I think he has 2 kids too, right?
Yeah, he's married to kids. I think
and
he's
I feel
very happy
like he's
married.
like, get your hand off my butt. But anyways, he is so attractive. Who wouldn't, right? Who wouldn't do that? Okay, so next up, you tell me who's next up.
James and Shana,
Yes.
who were my favourite couple for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Spot on. I think Shana had an injury.
Yeah.
But
And I
James
felt
shone.
do you feel that she was holding back a little, because it didn't seem like she was turning it out, and when she finished that number, she was limping to the staircase. I'm like, oh Lord, she is really injured. And everybody
Yeah.
did seem very concerned, though in past seasons sometimes those injuries allegedly were just to get votes. But anyway, I feel for Shana. She has come to the studio so many times and done this show. I've seen her Skype in. She is amazing. She's in her 9th season now. She really wants to win. You can tell.
This could definitely be her season to win.
Yes, I really hope she does. I watched her in rehearsals last season, and let me tell you, out of everybody on the show, she was the only one that would say to production, can I see the playback? Can I see the play? How did that come out? How did that come out? She really is serious, and she probably has deserved it before. I mean, she works so hard. They're giving me time, so I want to let you keep running through, because
okay, yeah. If we
next, she's amazing, and I hope she does good. I hope she gets better.
She was amazing. So just to wrap up, it was the 2 group dances.
Yes.
Team Past, who are my personal favourite. I thought the costumes, the set, the whole production was fabulous.
First of all, I'm like, what song is that? I'm like, why didn't they play a song I know? But then it's from the 1700s. How could you not know it?
Beautiful.
But you know it. I mean, Scotland's like your neighbor, right? So and what was with the lantern? What was that? Like,
I don't
didn't
know what the theme of that was. Maybe
But
you guys
Maureen
can let us
worked
know.
it.
But it
She's
was
like,
amazing.
She worked it. Even
was.
afterwards, they're like, okay, Maureen, come off stage. You're done with the number. But she just stayed in character. Go on.
And Future was also fabulous, but errors. So, they cut their marks, and they didn't get as high scores, 35 out of 40, which I thought was fair.
You're talking about the Future one now,
Yeah,
right?
the Future one.
The Future one was a little blasé. I mean, when they were bringing out all the plants and everything, it looked amazing, but then it got so dark you couldn't see anything, and that was at the end. You can kind of see the plants and everything, but it was very gray, stigmata. It's like, and they weren't kind of in synchronicity the whole time.
I just think that they were under rehearsed. They didn't do it together until they came actually into the studio to do it together, and that is not enough time, and that's where mistakes happen.
Right.
But it
Any
was
predictions?
wonderful.
We have like 10 seconds.
Next week, I would say, I already said Cheryl and Ryan to go.
All right. I kind of agree with you.
Calvin and Lindsay, or James and Shana, or who else is my winner?
It's Halloween episode, so that's like the favorite.
Oh, Jana and Gleb.
Yes, Jana and Gleb. Come on,
Maybe we should dress up.
Let's dress up. What do you guys want us to wear? Everything in the live chat, repost it, because once the live chat goes. But we hope to see you all next
Thank you,
week.
guys.
Dancing with the Stars, AfterBuzz live from North Hollywood. Yay. Thank you for having me. And Laura Beth, thank you.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
Views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.